we're in a time that's never been before. The toxic load has never been like this.
Huge.
The stress on women has never been like this.
Yeah.
So all of this comes into play. If your cortisol is running super high all the time, your adrenal system is not going to be making progesterone and estrogen. It's going to primarily be making that life-saving, fight or flight hormone cortisol, because that's what has to come first. So you have to stress manage. You've got to detox. You got to watch your environment. You do have to start taking more time for yourself. Your body is screaming at you during this time to take time for yourself.
Yeah.
And it will hit you hard if you don't listen.
Yeah, it will hit you hard. And I will tell you two interesting things is that through my menopausal journey, I've picked my mom's brain a lot. And she's like, it was nothing. It wasn't anything big. Well, if I remember back to what my mom was like in her 50s, it was like, she had no stress. So, and we were eating really well. Like, I get it. So I stopped asking her questions. That would be the first thing I would say. And then the second thing that I would say is I think that we have to work on our lifestyle harder. And I mean that, I shouldn't say harder because some women will just go in and do everything more. We need to learn, I should be careful of our lifestyle matters more after 40 than it's ever mattered before, which is why I wrote the Menopause Reset. It was like, okay, here's what we know we need to do. And maybe that's why I'm so sensitive, because I've got everything other than stress really dialed in. I just need something a little extra as I transition out of not having any period at all.
But I will say this, Mindy, that we have to be really careful with our words here, because a lot of women are doing it all right. They are managing their stress. They're eating perfectly. They're intermittent fasting. They're exercising. They're detoxing. They have it all dialed and they still can suffer. So I don't want you guys to think that you're doing something wrong, because sometimes hormonal loss can hit the best of us. I haven't drank in for 15 years. I have an extremely clean lifestyle. I live where there's no Wi-Fi towers. I live on property and up in the woods. I work from home. I have an amazing family. I have a great support. I have all of the things dialed in. And I will tell you, I suffered immensely. If I could show you a before and after picture of what I looked like at 42 and what I look like right now, you would be floored. It doesn't even look like the same person.
Yeah. And you bring up a really important point. And thank you for bringing that up, because it's two ends of the spectrum. You can't go into HRT or BHRT with this trashy diet and stressed out lifestyle. That's where I think it gets dangerous. And much like you, I have done so many things that it just became this moment in the last year, really, where I was like, okay, it's time to really open my brain and look at the possibility of bioidenticals. And the little bit I've dabbled in have actually really helped tremendously. So I think you're exactly right. We can't go on either end of the spectrum for sure.
Yeah. I just don't want people to think that they can be exempt because they're doing all the right things and then beat themselves up if they're not, because we have to have all of those pieces are foundational pieces. We can't forget about them. They'll make this time in your life that much better, and in you taking on hormones that much better, because you'll be circulating them, you'll be detoxing them well. Your gut's going to be healthy so you can break down that estrogen. All of these things have to be there, and it's very important. But it doesn't mean though that you're not going to still feel the effects of hormonal loss.